On the day the triumvirate armada arrived above Earth, few among the alien ranks thought humanity worth more than a single scornful glance. For centuries, the triumvirate, a conglomeration of three powerful species, had treated humans as mild curiosities at best, irrelevant relics at worst, while humanity quietly spread to a few outlying star systems, building precarious colonies on half-terraformed worlds. The galaxy's major players busied themselves with territorial disputes, resource harvesting, and the occasional skirmish that never reached Earth's door. The triumvirate, fueled by pride in its advanced weaponry and centuries of hegemonic rule, believed humanity to be too scattered and technologically inferior to pose any threat. Their arrogance was so profound that they almost saw the mission to Earth as an afterthought, a final sweep of the fringe. Even as the first wave of battleships cut through the blackness of space, shaking the orbits of Earth's satellites, the humans on the planet below remained calm, as if they knew something the invaders did not. The triumvirate's leadership saw Earth as little more than a knee-high fence to step over, a neat piece in their expansion plan. Officially, they had orders to subjugate humanity, annex its modest resources, and conscript any worthwhile specialists. Unofficially, they wanted to flex their muscle in one more corner of the galaxy, to show everyone that no matter how far you tried to hide, the triumvirate would find you. Grand Chancellor Volise, whose wide-set sapphire eyes could intimidate an entire chamber, addressed her gathered admirals over hololinks. Her species, the Gelvar, formed the backbone of the triumvirate. Tall, slender, and covered with fine scales that shimmered under sunlight, they prided themselves on cunning strategies. Volise waved the subordinate silent with a sinuous gesture of her hand. "Spread our fleet in orbit. Send drop zones onto every continent." Her voice, authoritative yet tinged with scorn, reverberated across the hollow field. "I want humans subdued by nightfall. Keep casualties minimal if you can. We only need to show them who rules these stars." The other admirals, representing the insectoid Teleth and the hulking Brathar, nodded, ready to follow her plan. None dared contradict that intention. Humans would yield. They would have no choice. First contact between triumvirate troopers and Earth's defenses seemed laughably tame to the invaders. The triumvirate's cruisers hammered Earth's orbit, disabling communications relays and satellites with minimal effort. Their infiltration teams, led by tall, silver-armored Gelvar squads, landed outside major cities, expecting to see white flags. They encountered only light resistance from Earth's planetary militia. Indeed, from the vantage of the advanced dropships, it looked as though Earth's defenders had hardly advanced beyond ballistic firearms and small rail cannons. So the triumvirate troopers marched forward, systematically occupying roads, power stations, and government buildings. They found some pockets of fighting in the outskirts, but even those soon fell quiet. For a fleeting moment, the invaders wondered if they had overestimated humanity's capacity to resist. Triumvirate soldiers grinned beneath their helmets, exchanging confident gestures across their comm channels. Yet, as the first day melted into evening, a shift in the atmosphere interrupted the triumvirate's celebration. Above the American continent, a flicker of bright light tore through the dusk. An object massive and ringed with shimmering electrodes warped out of some hidden dimension. It silently crossed the sky, leaving behind it a trail of luminous arcs. Triumvirate scanners picked up on this phenomenon almost too late. The foreign ship's modules hummed to life, and the signatures of large dormant crafts on Earth began waking up, one by one. This was no stray phenomenon. It was a crucial signal. Across the planet, similar flickers appeared, sometimes in the upper atmosphere, sometimes skirting around the horizon. For the first time, a measure of uncertainty rippled through the triumvirate lines. Their sensors couldn't map these objects properly. Each new contact appeared like an afterimage, there yet not there, as if nestled in a dimension the triumvirate had never fully charted. Then came the second wave of alarm. In the darkest reaches of Earth's forests, deserts, and deep oceans, enormous constructs began to stir. The rumor of Earth's giants had circulated for centuries among more superstitious triumvirate scouts. Most official records dismissed it as nonsense. The Gelvar intelligence agencies had found references to prototypes of massive mechs or ships that Earth might develop, but they never recovered verifiable proof. A few smugglers whispered of rumored test sites in the asteroid belt, hidden behind stealth screens. Still, the Triumvirate doubted humans could build anything capable of matching their interstellar dreadnoughts. So, on that evening, as the hidden compartments under the Arctic ice cracked open, as massive silhouettes emerged from ravines in the Sahara, and as the waters near Japan parted to reveal gargantuan metal bodies dripping with salt water, alarm rippled through the Triumvirate fleets. Each giant was at least a kilometer tall, with luminescent hatches revealing advanced weapon systems. Their hulls were etched in a language that read half like archaic Earth scripts, half like something newly forged. Even from orbit, triumvirate sensor arrays detected surges of power that dwarfed any known Earth technology. Shaken, an alien admiral demanded an immediate retreat, but Volise overruled them. "There is no stepping back," she said. "We push forward. Weakness is unthinkable." For centuries, humanity had quietly prepared for such a confrontation. They had known that to survive in a galaxy full of predators, they would need an ace. Their overt technological progress, which appeared moderate to outside observers, masked a secret project older than many Earth governments. Project Titanspire. The world's nations, once at constant war with each other, had come together following a near-cataclysmic event, an asteroid strike that forced global cooperation. From that day, they pooled their brightest minds, building artificial intelligence frameworks to design next-level mech technologies in hidden labs beneath the polar caps, the ocean floors, and the mountainous interiors of uncharted territory. While humanity outwardly appeared to struggle just to colonize a handful of exoplanets, covert teams engineered a generation of unstoppable war machines. Patience, secrecy, and a measure of cunning that no one expected. These were humanity's real weapon. They waited for their threat to show itself rather than seeking conquest, because in that moment of confrontation, revealing their might would be all the more devastating. Now that moment had arrived. On the second day of the invasion, the sun rose behind silhouettes that dwarfed the Triumvirate's ground assault vehicles. Standing watchfully, these titans, half machine, half architectural wonder, made even Brathar foot soldiers look trivial by comparison. Surface scans picked up advanced shielding technology that shimmered like an aurora around each titan's metal frame. The morning air pulsed with the hum of colossal power cells revving up. Triumvirate troops, previously cocky, were momentarily paralyzed by disbelief. Some were so stunned at the sight that they forgot their training. On the command deck of the Triumvirate flagship, the Teleth Admiral Kazax let out a sharp hiss. "This is not possible," it rasped, multifaceted eyes locking onto the landmass below. "How could we fail to detect such monstrosities?" Grand Chancellor Volise offered a thin-lipped expression of contempt at her subordinate, though it was laced with her own mounting panic. "Our intelligence must have been compromised," she muttered. "But no matter. We will destroy these illusions." With that, the Triumvirate launched its second offensive. Squadrons of agile fighters swooped in from orbit, unleashing plasma bombs and electromagnetic pulses intended to dismantle the shielding around each giant. On the ground, Teleth shock troopers advanced, carrying specialized fusion rifles. In the air, Gelvar cruisers hovered, bombarding the Titans with waves of superheated matter. For a moment, it seemed the Triumvirate might overwhelm them by sheer volume of fire, but a faint shimmer coursed across the Titan's armor as they absorbed the brunt of the assault. Then the giants responded in kind. One behemoth, stationed near the eastern coast of Asia, swung an immense energy blade formed of contained antimatter. With a thunderous crack, it sliced through an entire formation of Triumvirate bombers, leaving only a haze of molten metal in its wake. Another, perched in the Alaskan tundra, unleashed rail cannons so massive that each projectile could flatten mountains. Those projectiles punched holes through Triumvirate cruisers, turning them into drifting hulks in the blink of an eye. The invaders, for the first time in living memory, found themselves outmatched on the offensive. That day, chaos broke out across Earth's orbit. Several Brathar warships, once dreaded for their brute strength, attempted to flank the planet. They aimed to strike from the dark side, hoping to catch the Titans off guard. But, to their shock, they encountered Earth's hidden orbital defense network. On the far side of the moon, monolithic stations the size of small cities lit up, revealing themselves like watchful sentinels. Each station glowed with stored solar energy and antimatter reserves. Coordinated by advanced AI, they fired long-range lasers that carved crystalline paths through the darkness, eviscerating entire triumvirate wings in unison. Debris fields formed so quickly that the triumvirate's navigators found it nearly impossible to maintain stable flight paths. Desperation set in among alien crews as they realized that Earth had completed the trifecta of unstoppable ground mechs, strategic deep space defenses, and an intelligence network that harnessed every advantage the planet had to offer. Meanwhile, on the surface, small pockets of human ground troops emerged from bunkers to reclaim territory. The triumvirate had expected frightened civilians. Instead, they were met by disciplined units, armed with exoskeletons and portable shield generators. These squads struck quickly, vanishing into hidden tunnels after a skirmish. The tethered troopers, proud of their centuries of combat experience, found themselves outmaneuvered by humans who exploited the terrain masterfully. Scenes repeated from the dense rainforests of the Amazon to the industrial outskirts of Tokyo. Even as small tri-limbed T-lith squads advanced, they encountered illusions, decoys, and traps that led them into Titan vantage points where the colossal metal guardians could eradicate them with a single stroke of a plasma whip or a flick of a multi-barreled turret. The human defenders had become predators on their home turf. Sensing that the ground campaign had gone disastrously wrong, the Triumvirate High Command decided to revert to a tried-and-true strategy. An orbital bombardment so brutal that it could wipe out entire civilizations. The Brathar flagship, brimming with weaponized asteroids harnessed in a gravitic net, drifted into a prime bombardment position. The plan was to hurl these projectiles down at key population centers, forcing humanity to surrender at the risk of global annihilation. Grand Chancellor Volise herself oversaw the operation. Her scaled face hardened in resolve. She refused to allow her legacy to be undone by an upstart species. "We will end this now," she said coldly. In a carefully orchestrated maneuver, the triumvirate warships fired a barrage of mass drivers, each loaded with thousands of smaller kinetic rods. These rods, superheated by atmospheric friction, glowed an ominous red as they fell earthward. No known shield could block such a widespread, intense hailstorm, at least none that the triumvirate had ever encountered. Yet humanity's secret engineering proved them wrong once more. As the shimmering rods pierced the upper atmosphere, Earth's giants activated their second layer of defenses. Gravitational wave projectors. Stored within each Titan's shield core were advanced field generators designed to manipulate the very fabric of space-time on a localized scale. These projectors pulsed in rhythmic patterns, creating gravitational distortions that caught the descending rods. Instead of slamming into Earth's surface, the rods were flung back out of the atmosphere, some colliding with triumvirate ships still waiting in orbit. The planet trembled under the strain of the gravitational waves, but the strategy worked. The triumvirate's deadly barrage backfired, ripping apart their own lines in a frenzied display. Police watched in dismay as the greatest hallmark of her fleet's might turned into friendly fire chaos. A hush fell in the following hours as the battered triumvirate forces regrouped in Earth's orbit, counting losses. Thousands of their ships were destroyed or crippled. Debris fields circled the planet, shimmering in the sunlight as a testament to humanity's cunning. Still, some triumvirate admirals argued they should continue fighting. "We outnumber them," Admiral Zax insisted, his mandibles twitching in frustration. "They cannot possibly face the entire triumvirate." But Volis's expression, a mixture of pride and terror, betrayed her shaken resolve. She considered their resources, the potential reinforcements that might arrive from triumvirate space. and the time it would take. Humanity had demonstrated a level of technology and strategic prowess beyond anything recorded. The prospect of protracted war against such a cunning foe now seemed suicidal. The triumvirate's morale, once unwavering, teetered on the brink. Vulisse, for all her ambition and authority, saw the writing on the wall. If they continued this war of attrition, the triumvirate might collapse. Grudgingly, she signaled a partial retreat, pulling back the battered remnants of her fleet from low orbit. They formed a loose perimeter further out, seeking to regroup. On Earth itself, the presence of the Titans instilled a wave of confidence among human populations. They emerged from their bunkers, some cheering the colossal guardians, others shaking in awe. Media broadcasts, once silenced by triumvirate attacks, roared back to life, showing images of the giants striding across continents, offering assistance in clearing away wreckage and rescuing trapped survivors. However, the newly unified Earth Council, led by representatives from every major nation, knew the danger was not over. They had inflicted heavy losses on the triumvirate assault force, but the triumvirate's empire spanned dozens of star systems. Reinforcements would come. Humanity could survive the immediate assault. But if the triumvirate poured in their full might, Earth could eventually be overwhelmed by sheer numbers, no matter how mighty its war machines were. So the council convened with their top strategists, men and women, who had shaped the Titan's existence from the shadows. During that urgent meeting, Dr. Cassio Walters, a leading scientist behind the gravitational wave projectors, made a bold proposal. "We have the capability to reach beyond Earth's domain," she said. "We can strike at their supply lines before they regroup." She demonstrated how the Titan's advanced warp drives, miniaturized but potent, could be integrated into stealth ships to traverse hyperspace routes unknown to the triumvirate. If we managed to sever their chain of command, we might force them to negotiate. The suggestion was audacious. Historically, humanity had never launched an overt counteroffensive deep into enemy territory, but these were extraordinary circumstances. Earth's defenders recognized that letting the triumvirate rebuild was a fast track to a second, more devastating wave. With steeled resolve, the Council approved Dr. Walters' plan. A select battalion of Titans, retrofitted with advanced warp modules, took flight from Earth. Their metal frames shimmered under the new calibration, each towering machine, accompanied by a small escort of Earth's stealth frigates. The public calls these frigates Ghost Fleet, for they rarely appeared on standard sensors unless they wanted to be seen. Guided by an intricate network of AI subroutines and quantum-entangled beacons, they prepared to jump to a system from which the triumvirate's reinforcements would likely originate. Meanwhile, the Titans left behind on Earth maintained vigilance, ready to defend the planet from any renewed push. Back in orbit, the triumvirate's battered ships tried to rally around Vulisse's flagship. Communications chatter buzzed with confusion. Some believed they should rush the planet in one final desperate effort. Others believed a negotiated settlement was the only path to preserve the Empire's power. As the debate raged on, warning klaxons erupted across the triumvirate command deck. The sensor arrays had picked up an unexpected surge near the edge of the star system. Something was emerging from hyperspace corridors. Was it triumvirate reinforcements at last? Hopes rose for a moment. Then, the distorted shapes resolved on the monitors. A second Earth fleet, spearheaded by Titans, had jumped out of hyperspace behind them. The triumvirate admirals watched in disbelief, minds reeling at how humans not only defended their planet, but now threatened to trap the invaders in a pincer maneuver. Gelvar and Teleth alike scrambled to position the remaining fighters, but it became painfully evident that the triumvirate was pinned between Earth's orbital defenses and these newly arrived war machines. For the first time in memory, the triumvirate bent the knee. Transmissions requesting an armistice poured across open channels. The high-handed arrogance had melted away. On Earth, global celebrations erupted, albeit tinged with somber remembrance for those who had died in the invasion. The unstoppable triumvirate, which had subjugated countless worlds, now hesitated to continue the fight. Negotiations began in a secure orbital platform that floated over the Atlantic Ocean, where the Earth Council and triumvirate representatives tentatively sat at the same table. A dram of fear simmered in the alien delegates' eyes. They realized they had never seriously considered Earth's demands before. This time, the humans dictated terms. An immediate withdrawal from Earth's system, reparations for damages, and official recognition of humanity as a sovereign equal among the stars. The triumvirate representatives, keenly aware of the war machines hovering in the stratosphere, had little choice but to sign on the dotted line. For a few weeks, the galaxy braced for an even larger conflict. Within the triumvirate's dominion, some war-hungry voices clamored for total mobilization against Earth. However, cooler heads pointed out that the humans, to everyone's shock, were no meek backwater species, but a cunning, technologically formidable power. Another war risked catastrophic mutual destruction. In time, the triumvirate's leadership realized it could not afford to test Earth's hidden strengths again, at least not without catastrophic losses and an uncertain outcome. Thus, a hesitant peace settled into place. During the delicate post-invasion discussions, unexpected alliances began to form. Many smaller planetary systems previously suffering under triumvirate dominance reached out to Earth in hope of forging bonds to resist any future aggression. Diplomatic envoys from newly awakened corners of the galaxy arrived, curious about the secret behind Earth's titans. Humanity, once scorned and overlooked, was now approached with respect and occasional apprehension. Some feared Earth would transition from victim to oppressor, but the Earth Council, mindful of their own history, sought a more balanced approach. They made certain technologies available to allied worlds, especially planetary shields and improved agricultural systems, to build goodwill and stability. This measured generosity earned Earth a reputation as a fair power, not one driven by conquest, but by survival and mutual prosperity. Over the following months, the tension between Earth and the triumvirate remained, yet open warfare did not resume. Skirmishes flared in neutral territories, but neither side mounted a full-scale attack. Instead, the triumvirate was forced to reorganize, purging hawkish admirals who had led them into the debacle. Grand Chancellor Volise clung to power for a short while, only to be dethroned when internal politics turned poisonous. In her wake, a new triumvirate leadership council emerged, more pragmatic, more wary of underestimating anyone. They sought to rebuild relations with Earth, or at the very least keep the humans at bay. Earth, meanwhile, used the window of peace to solidify alliances, expand covert intelligence networks, and refine the Titans, ensuring that if war ever came again, they would be ready. Some of the triumvirate's younger cadets began referencing humanity in their military academies, teaching that even the meek may hide incomparable strength. The old jokes about primitive Earth disappeared. In their place arose uneasy respect, and a new saying that soon spread across the galaxy: "Never wake what you cannot kill." For the triumvirate, the question remained, had Earth revealed all of its cards? Or were there deeper secrets lurking beneath the oceans, within the mantle, or hidden behind the moon, waiting for a dire enough threat to stir them from slumber once again? In their final hours before departure, a contingent of triumvirate diplomats toured the remains of one of Earth's Titan factories in the Greenland ice shelf. They marveled at the labyrinth of machinery, each corridor humming with sophisticated AI. This facility had evidently churned out multiple giants in parallel, each hull forged from rare alloys that confounded normal scanning methods. To the visitors, it was a chilling reminder that Earth had reached a level of engineering that defied conventional logic. As they boarded their ships to leave, they wondered what else humanity had tucked away, unseen. The question lingered in every triumvirate mind as their vessels slipped out of Earth's orbit to rejoin the scattered fragments of their once proud armada. In truth, though, humanity had shown nearly everything. There was no deeper labyrinth of half-finished war machines, The Titans the Triumvirate faced were largely the sum of Earth's centuries-long effort. But appearances were a powerful tool. By allowing rumors to persist that even greater giants lay dormant, the humans cast an unsettling shadow over the Triumvirate's every move. The might that had awoken from Earth's cradle was enough to ensure a lingering fear in the hearts of any would-be conquerors. Humanity did not relish war, but refused to bow to those who threatened its existence. Determination, ingenuity, and an unyielding sense of unity had proven Earth's greatest assets. Years later, across the frontier worlds once subjugated by the Triumvirate, you could hear stories of invaders who ridiculed humans, until they saw the giants. Children of those worlds whispered tales of Earth's cunning, how the planet had feigned weakness for centuries, only to rise in formidable glory when pushed beyond endurance. Merchants traveling between stars repeated legends of colossal war machines that dwarfed entire cities, and of a cunning species that used them sparingly, but effectively. The Triumvirate itself remained, battered yet still powerful, humbled enough to respect Earth's autonomy. Meanwhile, humanity's name spread like a quiet storm through backroom dealings, strategic alliances, and new trade routes. The galaxy had changed. In the end, no further invasion came. A kind of cosmic stalemate set in. The Triumvirate, once unstoppable, could not guarantee victory against Earth's stalwart defenses. Earth, strengthened but not invincible, did not seek to expand into Triumvirate territories. With neither side eager for a second cataclysm, an uncomfortable peace settled over the galaxy. People could at last rebuild. Planets that had once lived under Triumvirate fear found the boldness to claim their independence. Earth, watching carefully, allowed their titans to rest, rigorously maintaining them in giant hangars hidden across the planet. Every so often, a traveler might glimpse the shape of a titan's head rising above the clouds, or see the faint glow of an orbital station brimming with potential energy, reminders of the day humanity refused to be oppressed. That day went down in countless chronicles as the moment when humans stood shoulder to shoulder against an overwhelming force and emerged not just triumphant, but ascendant. In the hush that followed the battle, an understanding spread. Sometimes the mightiest are those who conserve their strength until the final hour. For centuries, the galaxy had laughed at Earth, mocking its fragility. But when the Triumvirate dared to strike, the sleeping giants awoke, and with them the human spirit. Through ingenuity, unity, and courage, Earth had turned the scorn of others into a rousing victory and secured peace on its own terms. And in distant corners of space, while new stories and alliances formed, wary voices recalled that once, not so long ago, the humans had been underestimated and had proven the galaxy wrong with a terrible, resounding force. The memory of that day would ripple forward in time, a testament to what transpires when a seemingly small power, pushed too far, reveals its hidden might.